Welcome, everybody. I'm so sorry we've been having some technical issues, but please stay on the line. We're going to start shortly. Thank you.
Erica.
Welcome, Lakora. I had to troubleshoot you in because it wouldn't let me start the broadcast without the timing, and then it wouldn't show your name. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's good. Thank you.
So welcome, everybody. I'm seeing 13 people in the room. Thank you for being here. Lakora, you want to get us started?
Oh, hello. Hello. Can you hear me, Erica?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I'm getting a little back feed. Do you hear that? Oh, hold on. Okay. I was still in the other one. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Lakora Bradford Kesty, and you are here for the Young Women's Initiative Dream STEM Lead webinar. My pronouns are she, and her, and I'm the Director of Community Impact and one of the voices you'll be hearing today. Erica, want to introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, Lakora, and thank you, everybody, for your patience in the beginning. My name is Erica Hidrobo Cuesta, and I'm the Program Manager for the Young Women's Initiative at the Women's Foundation, and I use she and her pronouns.
So for the webinar today, you're going to hear a couple of things. You're going to have information about the Women's Foundation of Minnesota and the Young Women's Initiative. We're going to discuss background and context of the Dream STEM Lead program. We're going to talk about the timeline and how to apply and answer any of your questions. And so Erica will begin to talk about the foundation.
Thank you, Lakora. So for context, the Women's Foundation, we are a statewide community foundation, and we are really committed to driving gender and racial equity. We have been working with partners all over Minnesota for 38 years, and we envision a world where women and girls and all people really can live a safe and prosperous lives. Within the work that we do in communications and grant making, fundraising, policy, and research, we lead with the values of hope, generosity, and inclusion. And we're really aimed to make sure our relationships with participants and young women leaders and our grantee partners like uCodeGirl, who is going to facilitate these program sessions, also reflect these values as well. So now, to provide more information around the Young Women's Initiative, as some of you may have heard of what it is within your own state, but the Women's Foundation is actually doing this work through the Young Women's Initiative of Minnesota, which stemmed from these listening sessions that the Women's Foundation convened in 2015 through 2016, where we went out to community statewide and we asked young women and girls, hey, what are the things that are coming in your way that is not allowing you to accomplish your goals, and really what are the issues that you're facing in your community. So within these listening sessions, we heard from 8 communities to allow for a deeper conversation around economics, racism and culture, school and education, suicidal and gender norms, safety and health. And we know from the problems and solutions that we found in the same place and hearing directly from young women and youth is that it's important for us to find those solutions together. So the information gathered from these listening sessions helped the foundation develop a statewide agenda for gender and racial equity. And this helped increase resources for girls and women across Minnesota with the greatest disparities in outcomes. The qualitative data we gained from these listening sessions was instrumental to driving the Young Women's Initiative of Minnesota. And this is the blueprint for action that we used. So from those listening sessions, it came to be this blueprint for action report. I will share it in the chat box for you to look at, so you have more information about what it came to be. So from out of the blueprint for action, we got to extract the information and really the data that was crucial to these recommendations. And we narrowed down the purpose of the Young Women's Initiative to understand that when Black, Indigenous, and young women of color thrive, all young women, families, and communities thrive. And so when we heard from community their call to systems change, we must consider that these 3 components, which are leadership, safety and well-being, and economic opportunity, are crucial within these communities. In regards to economic opportunity, we learned from community their recommendations to build pathways in STEM fields is an action needed from young women. We found that less than 1% of STEM workers ages 23 to 25 in Minnesota represent women in these 8 communities. That is drastically such a small percentage that we knew we needed to address within these communities, which is why the Dream STEM Lead program was created as a result of this recommendation with the support of the Young Women's Cabinet, members of this Young Women's Initiative that make up 32 young women ages 16 to 24 that represent these 8 communities. And what's super exciting about the Young Women's Initiative is that we don't just represent in Minnesota. The Young Women's Initiative is also a collaborative nationwide within these 8 states, and you might have heard of it within your own state. So I will also drop this link below so that you can also find more opportunities within your own state. But essentially, the Women's Foundation co-founded this collaborative so that nationwide young women of color can thrive.
So what is Dream STEM Lead? It is a partnership between the Women's Foundation, BestBuy, and uCodeGirl to develop a paid virtual leadership program model for young women of color and gender expansive youth of color ages 16 to 24, again, nationwide. And so about uCodeGirl, the organization implementing this program, uCodeGirl is a 501c3 nonprofit organization designed to inspire, engage, and equip young girls in the Fargo-Moorhead community with leadership traits, computational thinking skills, and entrepreneurial mindsets. uCodeGirl strives to bridge the gender gap in technology so that young girls can confidently pursue 21st century opportunities. This organization serves girls ages 10 to 18. So why STEM? Why are we doing this? So from listening and conducting research, we know that women of color are underrepresented in STEM fields specifically. We also know that social justice issues have STEM solutions. And so this program is one of a kind that holds the intersections of STEM, entrepreneurial, and social justice to create solutions to the disparities that we continue to see in our communities. A few of the things that we are aimed to do is to increase women of color in STEM positions, meet the immediate needs of women with a curriculum that addresses the social justice, civil unrest, and how to balance that technological fatigue. And most importantly, our corporate sponsor, BestBuy, has made a pledge that says 30% of 1,000 new tech hires will be people of color or women. Next, when thinking about this program, we really were intentional about it. We used an intersectional equity framework that talks about race, place, gender, and other identities that wrap around how we think about equity in our program design. We also had, through the Young Women's Initiative, cabinet members were invited to co-create, develop, and implement and execute the program to meet the immediate and long-term needs of our youth participants to increase pathways to STEM. And the cabinet members are listed here that were brought through the design process to create this program. And the cabinet is composed of young leaders from communities across the state that experience some of the greatest disparities in opportunities and outcomes. And these amazing participants put their brilliant minds together to create a long-term need for their community. I want to take the time to thank them for their commitment to this work and for helping to make a pathway for someone else in this program. So for Dream STEM Lead, we have 3 big goals. One is around relationships and mentorship, and you'll see that when we talk about talk through the timeline and how this program will take folds. And then second, to provide and support to increase pathways to STEM careers, resulting in a certification from BestBuy. And 3, we want to increase awareness of the connections between social justice and STEM. So for the Dream STEM Lead curriculum, we built on the curriculum draws from basic human-centered design structures. And 1, I'm going to identify a problem, 2, map out the solution, 3, design, and 4, prototype, which is testing the initiative. So during the 6-week intensive, it will be a virtual training. Participants will be invited to generate ideas to solve socioeconomic problems in their communities using technology. And so with the assistance of STEM professional female mentors, participants will work in teams to design, prototype, and test solutions for the problems they have identified that are relevant to them in their communities. The program combines the foundational concepts of software design, leadership traits, entrepreneurship, and the important work of social justice. And participants will gain a 21st century skills such as critical thinking, communication, creative problem solving, and collaboration, which are all important in today's digital workforce. The program concludes on the evening of November 2nd, 2021, with the participants presenting their respective solutions in front of a panel of judges, followed by an award ceremony recognizing the most creative, complete, robust, viable product or service prototype for a real-world solution. I'm excited to see what happens from all of these projects at the end of the 6-week intensive. Erica.
Thank you, Licora. And with that, we can speak more on the eligibility process, which I know you've read most of what was been shared, and it's good that you're here to understand better like what your role would be and if you also are eligible. So the program eligibility is that you must be within the age of 16 to 24. So if you're turning 16 or you're still 24, but you're about to be 25, as long as you're within that age during the program, you're good. And you must identify as a young woman or gender expansive youth of color. Our definition of young woman is anyone who identifies as a woman The program is inclusive of transgender, gender nonconforming, gender non-binary, and all gender expansive people who experience gender-based structural harm. So out of the communities that you should identify in, it is identify as Black, Indigenous, and a person of color, including with one or more of the following communities: Black, African American, African immigrant, American Indian, Hispanic, Latinx, and Asian Pacific Islander. And as you are aware from what we've shared, these are the communities that we based our research from as the Young Women's Initiative program. You must reside in the United States. This program is eligible nationwide, and you do not need to be an alum or a participant of the Young Women's Initiative programs outside of this one. U.S. citizenship is also not required. So if you are a DACA recipient or undocumented immigrant, please do apply. There's no disparity there from this program. So selection process and the program cycle. So right now we're having our webinar. We will then tomorrow share the application, and then we will start from now until August. August 5th is the deadline for the application, and we will start our selection and distribution throughout this time. We hope to notify applicants by end of August, and then throughout August and early September, we will be sharing materials and preparation for your program in partnership with uCodeGirl. And then we will have our kickoff early September, and our last programming will be in October. And then we'll have our wrapping up with a celebration in November, and then we will also have the deadline for evaluation done in November. So this cycle, this timeline is essentially what you should be aware of as dates and commitments. And I would take a screenshot or take a picture, and we'll also make sure that we share this webinar info with you. So the time commitment, expectations, and evaluation. So you are required to attend and actively participate in each session. The sessions will happen once a week on a Tuesday from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Time. So if you are on a different time zone, Eastern Time, that would be 7 to 9, and Pacific Time, that would be 4 to 6. So keep in mind of the difference of the time zones. And then you are required to participate in a learning and evaluation process that will include surveys and potential interviews. So this is an important piece of information that we capture throughout the programming, because it allows us to continue this work and inform our partners, how this program can be developed better next time. And then each session will be virtual and recorded over Zoom meetings. So what is the application and what is the makeup? The application will be online, and there will be questions that you will need to answer fully, completely. The questions essentially are not questions about, what you've done and things like that. They're mostly, what are you most interested in? And if so, really helping you understand like how this program has that intersection with community and with leadership. So an example would be you were volunteering for a community cleanup, and you want to expand that opportunity to other members in the community. So you create an application, and you allow this application to be a resource hub or a way of communication. So these questions really are important that you can learn more about and how you want to share about this program and where you really want to build your skills. So those questions, if you have more questions about them, you can certainly email us about that, and we'll be happy to help you. The second component of the application is a letter of recommendation from either a teacher, a mentor, or a professor. And you will insert this letter of recommendation into your online application. And then lastly is understanding the commitment that you will be doing during the program, and that you agree to completing the program at each session in order to fully receive a certification at the end. So what it would look like to participate in the Dream STEM Lead program? In summary, you will be in a 6-week mentorship program that has the intersection of STEM, leadership, and social justice. You will have the opportunity to build a supportive network with one another and connect with influential STEM leaders across sectors. The program sessions will happen once a week, and at the end of your completion, you will also receive a $300 stipend for your participation. With the support of uCodeGirl, the facilitation and programming of the sessions, you will be learning, your leadership skills. You will work with a mentor during the program to help develop your idea, like LaCora shared. And really, it's a long-term commitment to inspire you and inspire others to become the future face of innovation and technology. And in the partnership we have with BestBuy, what's very exciting about it is that BestBuy also wants you to know that whatever completion you make from this program, you also receive a tech skill certificate that counts for an opportunity in the future. So with that, I think we have summed up most of what's been shared. We have the application will open tomorrow, and there's already a press release on the application that will include a link to the application. And then the deadline is August 5th at 11:59 p.m. And our aim is to announce notifications of applicants by August 23rd. Any program related questions, you can contact me at erica@wfmn.org. And then any application assistance, you can let our founder, our uCodeGirl, our grantee partner, Bethlehem, about that. And now with the time we have left, I will open for questions. There should be a question tab in your lower left corner of your screen. If you want to click that to ask questions, you're happy to do that. Otherwise, you can also use the chat function to ask questions. Either or works for us. So we'll let this remaining time left to answer any questions. So I see there was a question about innovators. Can you apply if you're already an innovator? So that's a great question. So if you were a participant of one of our programs with the Young Women's Initiative, you're still eligible to apply for this program. Like I said, anyone outside or within the program is eligible to apply, and you're not required to be part of the initiative in order to apply. So there's no restrictions within that field of questioning the Young Women's Initiative. And that's really exciting because this program is unique itself. It has a STEM focus. And so we really want to encourage anyone who's never thought about STEM to really consider this opportunity and think about how they see themselves creating an idea and transferring it into a STEM focus. I see another question came in. It says, I'm in international relations with an interest in cyberspace. Can I apply? Yes. So like I said, we are now looking for individuals who've had extensive amount of experience in STEM, this opportunity is really to increase the pathways of young women interested in STEM and also are looking into learning more. So if you have experience, that's great. If you don't have experience, that's not a limit. We want to encourage more young women and girls to learn about what is STEM and understand how they can also create an impact in their community using STEM. There are many examples of young women who are already doing community work, who've been volunteering in community. So that's really the innovation we want to see from participants, is that drive to do something in community and how they can do that using STEM.
And we will take 5 more minutes for questions, just to honor people's time.
To answer the question about recording, yes, this webinar is being recorded and we will work with our communications team to make sure this is included in a social media and also in emails. So we will make sure to share this webinar with you all. There's a question about the survey we have to fill out to get accepted into the program. I'm not sure what survey you're talking about. I think what you meant maybe was the evaluation survey. That survey happens once you're in the program. And that essentially is at the end, once you've completed the programming, to share like your reflections and also what you were expecting from the program. So there is no survey before applying that you need to fill out. It's only an application that you will need to fill out. And the application is on a website. It will be on the uCodeGirl website, and we will include that link to the application in the blog post that has the press release information. And I'll drop that link now into the chat. So I see another question about programming experience. So ideally the questions, and you'll see in the application, the questions in the application are not about any kind of programming experience. That's why we don't ask for a resume or anything like that, because we understand that within this demographic and age group, there is a need to have more experience in STEM. So this program, essentially the questions that you'll be asked is, what are your interests and how do you see your skills evolving throughout STEM? What exactly about STEM do you know? And how would you like to learn more about STEM? And so that in the application is crucial that you share with us so that we understand better how to understand the programming with you. And so if you have some ideas, or maybe you don't really understand a question well as it's being asked, you can certainly email me and I'm happy to follow up with you. So the timeline will be shared in an email. We'll make sure to share that as well. The time frame to hear back about being selected is end of August, since the programming will begin early September. So by end of August, you should hear back from us about if you were selected or not. And like I shared from the age group, so you have to be within 16 to 24. So if, let's say you're 24 right now in September, and then you'll be 25 in December, or like in January, like you're still eligible. So as long as you're still within the age group while you're participating, that is what counts. If you're already past 24, unfortunately, you'll have to consider the fact that it's not eligible anymore. But we will be sharing opportunities as well on our website, and please do look at our website for other opportunities that we have outside of the initiative. We are launching this first new initiative out of the Young Women's Initiative, so this program is fairly new, but we've been doing many other programs as well. And actually, LaCour, if you'd like to share more about that, we can also talk about that with the time we have left.
Say that one more time, Erica.
Oh, I'm just saying about the programs that we offer within the Young Women's Initiative.
Oh, yes. So up and coming with the time that we have left. So I really appreciate all of your questions. With the time that we have left, we have our innovators, which someone asked about, and that is a program where young people apply and bring their amazing innovative ideas, whether it's around climate justice, whether it's around activism, or if you're building out a skill set or a business. We'd love to have folks apply to that. We have our cabinet program that just wrapped, and that's an appointment through the governor's office. And that's another amazing opportunity. And then applicants alumni from those programs. I'm like, we had our internship. And then we have 2 internships, the Wanda Weeksmore and the Aretha Clark King internship opportunities, which we just actually filled. So I'm excited about that. So those are just a couple of other opportunities that we serve in our organization. But it is 6:09, and I appreciate all of these questions. And if you have others, please reach out to us. Again, as Erica said, this webinar has been recorded, and we will get it edited and sent out and added to our website. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you all. I hope you enjoyed this webinar, and I hope you found the information useful. Please be on the lookout for the application, either in your emails or on social. And then any questions about the application content, please let me know. If you're having any issues accessing the application, please email Bethlehem. And then any other question that you're interested about the Women's Foundation's work, as it is specifically focused in Minnesota, please also let me know, and we can also connect you with opportunities here. But with that, I hope you have a good evening, and we will stay in touch with more information. Thank you.